everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was released last year in 2015. The fragrance is from the house of Michael Kors. We're talking about Extreme Blue. Now, Extreme Blue, relatively new release, and I have generally been very accepting, very liking of the house of Michael Kors. I think they have produced a couple of good fragrances, and this one I was really excited to kind of get my hands on. So when I finally got my hands on it, I'll save that a little bit for the review. I just want to come ahead and give you guys a little bit of information beforehand. Now, first thing, it's available in three main sizes. It's available in a 2.3, which is going to run you about $65 or $62. A 4 ounce, it's going to run you $78, and a 1.4, which is going to run you about $48. All of those are retail prices. Do some searching online, because I'm pretty sure that you can find this discounted already for reasons that I will get into. Now, the bottle, I think it's very simple. It's nothing really to write home about. I know it's got a simple, elegant, and that's usually how I like my bottles, but this one, it's just a little bit too simple. But again, that's just the bottle. What about the juice? Now, the notes of the fragrance are on screen. The real thing to actually call out to, and really what I'm getting from this scent, is a really clean barbershop-like fragrance. Now, it's not as heavy as most barbershop fragrances, and when I say barbershop fragrances, I'm really talking about it's this certain smell that you kind of get from some of the aftershave sometimes, which kind of reminds me of Aramis, but sometimes it kind of reminds me a little bit of something cleaner, and that's really what I'm getting with this one. I get a really clean barbershop-like smell. If I'm going to get a little bit more specific, I get a good amount of citrus notes at the top, and I know it's extreme blue, so it's supposed to kind of smell like the ocean, or supposedly, but I don't really get that vibe at all. I just get a clean, sporty-like fragrance that has like these barbershop undertones to it. It kind of has like an Acqua di Gio feel to it. So if you're familiar with the scent of Acqua di Gio, you have a very good conception of what Extreme Blue is going to actually smell like. So if, as the fragrance kind of develops, it starts to get a little bit more spicy, very similar to Acqua di Gio in that matter. But the citrus notes kind of remain through it. And at the end of the day, it comes across as very fresh and very clean. So describing the fragrance from front to back, you get a nice citrusy, sporty fragrance, clean barbershop type fragrance. You start to get a little bit more spices, and it dries down to a very simple, clean type scent. So a little bit underwhelming in terms of the actual smell of the scent. And the other thing that comes to mind really on this one is the performance on this one. Now, I go about 3-4 sprays on this one. I went as high as 8 sprays on this one. The initial projection is actually pretty good. So putting on that many sprays, people are going to smell you from a good amount away. The problem with this fragrance is that it dies down almost immediately for me. So I spray it on, and all of a sudden it's coming back, and after about 4 hours is when the scent really becomes a very, very close skin scent and almost disappears entirely on that. So I was not impressed with the performance on this one. A lot of people, I did some basically looking around, and a lot of people got a lot better performance than I did. This was just one that just refused to stay on my skin no matter how hard I sprayed it. I will say this, it did last a lot longer when I sprayed it on my clothes than my skin. So I think it has really something to do with my skin rather than clothes. On clothes it lasted a good 8 hours, so it did a much better job rather than on my skin, which is a little bit weird because it's usually the opposite way around. Now, I think this is a good work fragrance. I think that it's, outside of that, I really wouldn't put it even for casual. This is a good work fragrance just because it's not going to choke anyone out. You're going to smell clean, professional, like you just got a haircut almost. So very good in those respects. Any age group can go ahead and pull this one off, and I think this is a good summer fragrance. Because of the aforementioned performance issues, I do think that the summer really helps this one in terms of the heat kind of carrying the scent, but outside of that, summer fragrance, and pretty much that's it for it. Now, as far as compliments goes, compliments on this one, I did not get any compliments. When I had people smell it, they thought that it was an okay fragrance. They thought that it smelled like a typical cologne fragrance, so it was really not really jumping out and not really standing out in that regard at all. So not really positive marks on that. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give this fragrance a rating a 5 out of 10. Now, judging these fragrances, 5 out of 10 is basically right smack dab in the middle. It's not a great fragrance, it's not a bad fragrance. At the end of the day, this smells good. I think that it smells good, but I don't think that it's a wow good fragrance. I think that it's just a very clean smelling fragrance. Because of the fact that it suffers from the projection problems. Or not projection, but the longevity problems, and it's a little bit run of the mill in terms of the actual scent. I don't want to take away too many points to fragrances because they smell like other fragrances, because there's so many fragrances out there. But this one's been done to death. This type of smell has really been done to death, and there are a plethora of other scents out there that do such a better job at this scent than this one does. Not to say that this wasn't a bad one, I just think that there are better fragrances out there that do it for this. Even considering the price, which is reasonable, but it's still, I'd say, run-of-the-mill in the very smack dab middle. Not a bad fragrance, not a great fragrance. Try it out, see if you like it. You may be surprised. It may be something that you like. But other than that, right dab in the middle. All right, so if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free. Send me a message, leave me a note, do whatever you got to do. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.